Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
You pretend wave a white flag while you doing other stuff behind the scenes. So I don't see your flag. Your flag waving is a red declare war flag.
Yo, what is up everybody and welcome back. Today we're talking about the new episode of LAMH Huntsville Season 6 Episode 31. Let's get started. So we didn't really see how the Houston trip really ended because the episode starts with all of them back in Huntsville. So we first see Stormi and Courtney riding a rider in a slingshot, which is kind of cool that they were doing that, and then they stopped to get some street tacos. And Stormi has been thinking a lot about her mom and her aunt who haven't been talking since we last saw. She was sort of inspired by the Houston trip, so she wants to fix the gap between her mom and her aunt Lisa. And what she's gonna do is that she was invited to a fish fry that her uncle's gonna be having, where all the family will be there. So the mom, the aunt, the uncles, and everybody's going to be there. So hopefully that will be a good place for her to resolve things. Looks like Stormi really likes to play the role of mediator in every damn situation but her own. Then we see Melody. She goes over to the Fletcher's daycare and they're doing like a back to school back drive where they're giving away backpacks and school supplies because school is about to start in this time, which is amazing that they do that for the community. They mentioned that they do it every year. I love to see that. So Mel goes and helps out a bit, and she also tells them that they did a really great job with this Houston trip. Melody says that this is really the first time that she has had a peaceful trip with this group, and I mean, given the history of the other trips that they've had, we can see why Melody enjoyed this one a little bit more than she has before. So yeah, the Fletchers did a great job, and Melody tells them that after the trip, Martell reached out to meet with her, so she's gonna go see what that's about. Okay, so Stormi is now on her way to the family fish fry, and Courtney didn't want to come. I know people say, oh, Courtney, like, he is not about the mess, he don't want to be about the drama. But I'm like, nah, dog. Like, you gotta go and support your wife. I don't like that he be letting her go out with the wolves and not be there to have her back in person. But anyway, she's with some cousin that they call Butter. And she shares again her plans to get her mom and Lisa to talk. They arrive to the place. The grandmother is there, the uncles and aunties and cousins, the whole family, and who doesn't love a family cookout? So they're frying the fish, and Aunt Lisa is there, and so is Betty, and things look okay. They're kind of just ignoring each other until Stormi brings them together, but she does it away from the others, and as soon as she pulls them to the side, it starts to rain, so they had to get up everything that they had and move. So once they moved, they continued the conversation. So it looks like Betty and Lisa are having some disagreements about who is going to take care of with their mom, Stormi's grandma. I will say Stormi's mom's her mom Betty did seem to come in with a little bit more of calm and peaceful demeanor than she has before. Stormi, I guess, took some good notes from that psychiatrist in Houston, because she asks Betty, like, what is the one thing, like, if you could just put it in one point, the thing that you want to change or make better with Aunt Lisa? And she's able to say, she says something about the weekend with the mom, and the mom, Betty, was actually being quite receptive, and they even all went in for a hug. All the siblings gave each other a hug except Lisa. Aunt Lisa refused to do so, but Stormi says that she sees this as a small win. Okay, moving on, Melody is going to go meet with Martell to see what the hell he wanted. And y'all, this man is such a manipulator. He was paying for her tea. He had a bouquet of flowers for her that looked like came out of the supermarket. And Melody say, aren't you dating Shari? Like, what are these flowers for? And Martell says, oh no, I'm not dating no one. And Melody says, well, I am. So this is kind of inappropriate. We're very divorced. So then he says that Houston meant a lot for him. He wants to be really good at co-parenting. He talked to Chris and he wants to apologize for not making her feel protected in the marriage. He apologizes for that and says that he really wants to be in a good place with her. He doesn't want to bring no harm to her, especially because they are going to be around each other quite a bit. It sounded beautiful, like straight out of a movie, but she can't help but laugh and says that this is the most gaslighting experience that she's ever had. Mel says that everything Martell is saying sounds great, but that's some BS. She says that they are not in a good place. The hell? They were just screaming and hollering at each other in Houston about who was cheating. She calls him an agent of chaos, you guys, and says that he hasn't grown up. They are not in a place of peace, and it's not gonna happen. Damn. He says that he's been waving the white flag for a while now, and she says that he pretends to wave the flag, but then he be doing some backhanded dirty stuff. She blames him for a lot of the social media stuff that has been happening, that he has been a part of, and Martell then even goes as far as to say that he wouldn't have cheated had he known that his family and that his life would have unraveled the way it did. I was thinking, I bet you do regret it, dude. Then Melody says, why are you wearing that ring I bought you in 2008? And he says, I'm manifesting. I can't. He said he was manifesting. And Melody says, what are you manifesting about? Because according to you, our marriage was horrible, wasn't it? And he says, no, it wasn't horrible. Our marriage was very successful. Then she says, you know what? I gotta go catch a flight that's waiting for me. And he says, you know what? You're always making stuff difficult. I think that's where Martell started to get a little bit pissed, because she gets up and leaves. And by the way, she was wearing a very nice dress. And as she's leaving, she says that he can go ahead and keep the flowers and give them to the kids. And then he says, well, why don't you actually send them something? And they start to kind of fight until she walked out the door. Okay, so I will say, just based on this scene alone, I feel like Martell did a good job in trying to make us believe that he wanted her back and stuff like that. And if I'm honest, I do think that he wants her back. I do think that if she gave him the opportunity, he would jump in a heartbeat to go back with her. But here's the thing, you can't throw a match and then be like, oh my gosh, the house is on fire. You know what I'm saying? And like, don't get me wrong, I think Melody ain't innocent either, but Martell ultimately is the one who cheated and was the one who broke up his family. And these are the consequences of it, Martell. You are now seeing that 5 minutes of pleasure destroyed your life. Okay, so moving on, we go to another date. This one is with Kimmy and Maurice. It is at a hotel and it's very romantic. The bed had flower petals. Kimmy was dressed very nice and so was he, and Kimmy was so giddy. It was great to see. They sit down in a little table and Kimmy is in love with that man. Like, she really does treat him like a king. She says that she wants to thank him for hanging in there with her, because he didn't sign up for this, for everything that she went through, losing her hair and all these treatments. And Maurice says, you don't have to thank me because I did sign up for this. He says that he admires her beauty and her strength and her resilience. And she says that every day she went to chemo, he was sitting right there, and that meant the world to her. And he says that I was supposed to be there with you. Of course I would do that. And Kimmy truly feels like Maurice has her back, which is great, you know, that a wife feels like that about her husband. Kimmy says that she's been trying really hard to get her libido back, but she opens up about some of the mean and negative things that people said about her appearance after she went through what she went through, as far as like shaving her head off and the chemo and stuff like that. So having those negative thoughts and comments of people did play a part in her feeling a lack of sexual, like feeling like she wasn't sexually attractive. So I think that makes a lot of sense, how that psychologically messed up with her hearing what these people had to say, which screw those people, honestly. Like, why are people so mean? And then she surprised Maurice because she had like a risky sensual photo shoot recently, and she had some photos for him. So she had one specific one that she put in a huge frame, and he wants to put it in his office. But she says, no, like maybe let's just put it in our bedroom. And then Maurice, oh my god, he buttons down his shirt and he shows her his quote-unquote progress in the gym, but he had a Sharpie six-pack. That was so Courtney, but she was laughing and so was he. So that's all that really matters. I love this scene. And to all the haters that talk about Kimmy and Maurice, honestly, I get why they talk about their relationship at times. But you guys, this is love. Like, let's not judge, because this love needs to be celebrated. Okay, so then we see Marsau and Tisha, and they're in a house that's still under construction. One eternity later, Tisha says that they need to hurry up because the lease in the apartment is up and there's really no progress. She also complains about her office that hasn't been built. She wants to feel like she is being prioritized, because in this moment she does not feel like that, because actions speak louder than words. She says that she's tired. She says, I want my home and I want my office now. But then Marsau says, oh, well, you turning me on talking like that. What? Ugh. Tisha also says that Houston was a lot with the baby pregnancy test drama. Marsau says that he was being gaslit by Tisha, and she says, no, he wasn't. And they start talking about the vasectomy again. And she says that it made her feel like he didn't trust her. And she says, without trust, we have nothing. And Marsau asks, have you ever stepped out on me? And Latisha Scott says, I can't answer that question for you. And he kept asking and she didn't respond. And then she walked away with some dramatic music. Child, this acting ain't fooling me, okay? When Tisha said, without trust, we have nothing, she was trying so hard not to laugh. This little story with the vasectomy and the pregnancy test, I think it was all manufactured because they really have nothing to talk about. So I am really fooling with this, and I really don't care about him asking her if she stepped out, because again, I think it's all fake and pretentious. But you guys, that's the end of the season. We finally got to the end, and then next week we're gonna get the reunion. And based on the preview, it looks like this might be one of the best reunions yet. Tisha is coming in hot, and she's gonna tell Stormi and Keke, and I can't wait for that to happen. So that'll be next week. But as far as this episode, you guys, what did y'all think about it? I think it was pretty it was kind of lame considering it was a season finale. I think what I enjoyed the most was Kimmy and Maurice's date, and I think Melody and Martell's little date was a little interesting. But what did y'all think about of these dates in this overall episode? Let me know in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.